Welcome to the Hired Not Fired podcast, brought to you by The Real Me, the soft skills first talent solution that helps employers hire entry-level employees with better developed soft skills, such as communication, problem solving, or emotional intelligence. Join us as we sit down with hiring managers, talent leaders, and others and get insider tips to help Gen Z stand out and get hired. Let's dive in. Hi there. Welcome to Hired Not Fired. I am so excited to introduce this week's guest. Dagny Belak from Akamai is here to share some wonderful tips on getting hired and growing and shining in such an amazing company that was recently awarded America's Greatest Workplace for Gen Z 2025 and Best Employers for New Grads 2025. So I know you're going to want to hear what Dagny has to say. Dagny is an emerging talent recruiter at Akamai, and in her role, she manages America's intern co-op programs and hiring across Canada, the US, Costa Rica, and Brazil. She enjoys working with early career talent as they launch their careers. Welcome, Dagny.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
We are too. Could we start off telling us a little bit about Akamai? What does the company do? What do you sell?
Absolutely. So Akamai is a technology company. We have a number of different products that are focused on powering and protecting life online for billions of people, trillions of times a day around the world. And we achieve this with market-leading security solutions, superior threat intelligence, and global operations that essentially provide defense to safeguard any critical data and applications. We also have the world's most distributed cloud platform with our full stack cloud computing solutions also. So very much involved in the frontier of the internet and of security solutions globally.
That's great. What is it like working in the security industry?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's changing rapidly. As you can imagine, there are different emerging threats constantly. And I've been here almost 4 years, and the company has really evolved a lot during that time to be able to meet these, new threats online. So it's definitely an exciting place to be. It's a great mission to be able to help keep people and businesses safe and to protect data. So definitely a lot going on over here and a lot continuing to go on as we go forward.
That's great. And I mentioned that you won these awards, it's best place to work, and that. Could you tell me a little bit about what is so special about the culture there at Akamai that makes it such a great place for new grads?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are a lot of different things we could touch on here. The company is very good at listening to its employees and trying to understand what they're looking for to feel productive and how they work. So one example of that is our flex space policy. After COVID, we actually have stayed pretty remote first, and we give employees the choice whether they want to be in an office or they want to work from home. And about 95% of employees have that choice at the company. So especially for Gen Z, we see that flexibility is a big priority that students, new graduates want to be able to balance their life along with their professional life as well. So that's been something that I think has really helped us be a leader for Gen Z hiring and for attracting Gen Z candidates. We also have a lot of great benefits that are really geared towards Gen Z hires as well. We have a wellness team that provides wellness days for us every year. They're constantly looking to get people involved with different health, mental health, physical health challenges so that people feel really safe coming authentically to work. And then we also have benefits like student loan reimbursement and the ability to get an education stipend for people wanting to go back to school or to pursue certificates while here. So there really is that amazing culture of learning. There's a lot of mentorship opportunities, especially for people just starting in the workforce. And I think all of those perks really make it an excellent place to be when you're starting out your career.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. You cover a lot of different aspects. I can see why you won that award. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about AI because everyone's talking about AI. We know it's huge, and how is it impacting recruiting? How is it impacting not just the way we know that candidates are using AI for their cover letters and their resumes, but how does it impact what you're looking for when choosing who to bring in for an interview and who to offer?
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic at the moment, something we're talking about every week over here. So, I think on the candidate side, AI can be a really useful tool when you are preparing to apply for jobs. I know even personally, I've experimented with putting my resume through AI or cover letters just to kind of see what enhancements it can make. And it really can make some excellent suggestions, especially in terms of formatting. So, I do think it's a very helpful resource, especially for people who might not have a career center at their school or might not have those resources available to them. Where I would caution is that when you are applying and you're using these AI generated resumes and cover letters, sometimes it can erase a little bit of that passion you might have for something because it really is standardizing. And we get a lot of very similar resumes these days because of AI. So I would just encourage candidates after you've done your AI review of your resume or cover letter, just go through again and make sure that your passion for whatever it is, what you're studying, projects you've done, a hobby you have continues to shine through and that it's not being dulled or standardized. I think that, always really appeals to recruiters or to hiring managers who are reading over your materials. And I think on, the hiring side, we are still looking at resumes with humans. We're not using AI to filter out people or to automatically reject people. So I do want to
Wow.
encourage candidates that when you apply,
So
you
that
are
ATS black hole doesn't exist?
not for us over here. We, do have the option internally to search for specific things, but at the same time, we're still looking through every resume. We really do want to find, the most qualified people, the most passionate people in the applicant group. So, yes, I would say do not worry if your resume isn't ATS approved or anything like that in the case of Akamai, because we're still going to be reviewing your resume.
Wow, that's great news to hear. I'm sure a lot of people are celebrating right now. So what is it that you look for when you're going through? I imagine you get a lot of resumes. Well, let me ask one question first. Is the cover letter still relevant? Do you care about a cover letter? But the real question after that is, how do you choose? You've got, hundreds, maybe thousands of resumes from people who don't have a lot of work experience. What is it that you look for?
Yeah, good questions. We do. We get thousands of applications every year for our roles. We're very fortunate to have incredibly qualified candidates applying over here. I think when I'm looking at resumes, I'm really looking for the three C's in my mind. So those are collaboration, communication, and curiosity. I think, the first two are pretty established soft skills. So anytime that you can demonstrate you've worked in a group, you've been a leader in a group, anything like that is great. Again, same thing with collaboration. Anytime that you can show you work well with others, because we are a very collaborative company over here. And then curiosity. So we're looking for people who are curious, who want to try new things, to take risks, who want to go further than the assigned project just because they're curious about it and want to see what happens. And I think those three things can really help people to stand out in the process. We do not require cover letters over here at Akamai. We don't even list them as, an optional thing anymore. So at least for us, you do not need to go through the hassle of creating a cover letter.
Well, that's also good to know. I've heard you say in other contexts that one of your favorite questions to ask is, what challenge have you encountered recently and how did you respond? So I'm curious, what stories in response to that question most often surprised you in a good way when evaluating early career candidates?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm going to be giving away my secrets here a little bit, but I think the things that
Just
I'm
this one.
exactly. The things that I'm really looking to hear out of that answer, kind of regardless of, the experience you can speak to, is how you problem solve and if you're willing to work with others to ask for help. I think, especially since we are more of a remote first company, we really do need students who, when they get stuck, aren't afraid to reach out, to connect with their teammates, their mentor, their manager, whatever it is, instead of kind of maybe sitting stuck and getting frustrated. And it's difficult to learn how to ask for help, especially in a new corporate environment. So that's always something that we're encouraging in our interns, and I'm looking for in potential candidates. And then similarly too, on the problem solving aspect, I want to hear how you think through something when it's challenging, and, how you're avoiding giving up and experimenting. It doesn't matter if, it ended up failing, or, a result that you didn't expect, but as long as you're able to stay calm and think through those situations, I think it translates really well into working in tech, where, things do go wrong and you have to adapt, and it can be a fast-paced environment. So being able to, keep a level head is definitely important.
That's great. Thank you for sharing some of those insider secrets. We appreciate that. And I really appreciate you being here for today. And next episode, stay tuned, everyone, because next episode, which drops on Thursday, we're going to talk about the internship program at Akamai and what it takes to get into that and what it takes to shine once you're there. See you on Thursday.